The finale is upon us. We have made it at the end of my link click journey for now. I don't know if I'm assuming there'll be a third season, but I guess it all depends how they decide to end things here. There's a lot of things I still want like answers to and have questions to, so I'm assuming that stuff would come in a future time. But the end of the journey comes for now, which will end up being a few years anyways. I'm excited. I'm nervous. I don't know where we're headed. Somebody just got clapped. We got other people who might as well. Everybody's at odds with each other. there's a lot on the table here. I don't know. I got nothing. I got nothing right now. We're just gonna go into it. If you want to stick around after the discussion for this episode, I'll be talking about the series overall. I'll give it some general thoughts and a rating. And so if you're interested to that, you can skip to this timestamp in the description. If not, just wait till we get to that point, I guess. If you like it all though, hit the like and subscribe. Do mean a lot to me. Feel free to stick around for the discussion. Leave in the comments with this episode or series. Let's get going though with episode 12. What are they trying to do? Give us sad moments now, you fucking losers? Of course you're gonna do that, aren't you?
我妈妈她带我妹妹去上厕所了。
啊，小朋友你好，这里是卫生精神中心，你妈妈是不是有打过电话来咨询心理问题啊？
我们家没人有精神病。哦，是骚扰电话。
A crank call.
今天总算能约到这个金医生了。
不会是骗子吧？
That fucking quack.
别瞎说，他把你妹吓着了。
我会照顾好她的。
She doesn't need to learn to speak. I got this.
半年前开始就突然发不出声音了，跑了好几个地方都看过，就
She
查不出
lost
原因。
it?
没事的，有我
Oh.
在。
Huh. Can't live without a good brother. So change your ways or I'm gonna die. Except I already got shot. Does he turn around and just clap you again, bro? Unless he just passes out because he got fucking shot too. Where was he hiding? You didn't see him. Unless it's just like way too dark and we just don't get that same vision because, you know, anime and we need to see. I still can't believe they did this. So I'm gonna kill each and every fucking one of you. Start unloading into them. Would Guang do something? Oh, he can't even move. Oh, no. Bro. Where? Like, be like in a bad spot. He's gonna... Oh. Injuries don't matter now, bro. He's got the adrenaline pumping. Just a few scratches. You go fucking shit out. Ugh. Teamwork, boys. Teamwork. That's so smooth. Doesn't matter. You're so fucking jacked up with the adrenaline, bro. You're just moving at this point. But it could be fatal at that point, which it seems to be for her. Oh no, she's gonna hit us with some emotional shit. I'm not trying to cry, please. Please. I'll get to see her soon, man. Buddy is fucking ripped, I'm just saying. Oh my god. Bro, even all the skills we fucking learned are nothing compared to him. Where the fuck did this guy train? You found those? Why don't you have a weapon? Oh my god. We know he can fight, bro. We've already seen it. 3v1, boys. 3v1. What do you mean? What do you mean? What did you?
小丽，
Oh my god!
收手吧！
A fucking dog! Bro, he got the dog in him. Snap the head back off the fucking ground. Everybody left though. Into the brain, the core. That's a hell of a shot. She passed on. It's not the only thing that got passed, yeah.
如果调解还是没用的话，你可以试试走法律途径，和他解除婚姻关系。
我不要爸爸妈妈分开，爸爸妈妈是不是不要我了？
就我来。
神经病！
Yeah.
神经病！
At the same time. Oh, so he didn't even realize that that happened. Relive all the memories of going through all this, huh? It's a tough one to take on. It's just like CX's ability. It's not easy to take on at all. Like mentally, there's a lot that can. Ugh.
对不起，为什么会突然不受控制？鱼儿，对不起。爸爸好想陪你一起长大。听到你第一次开口，看着你学会走路，每天护送你去学校。
And she has to go through and see that.
鱼儿，对不起，对不起，我不是一个好妈妈，我自始至终都不知道怎么才能更好的去爱你。
And she thinks back to this.
怎么会？小心！小心！放手！
你朋友留低咗份嘢。
And that's how he got all that stuff to drop off. Yep. And he's probably never thought of this or realized maybe how she feels this entire time.
这是小溪。
故事的结尾，那对兄妹有没有找到回家的路啊？
One of them does. So now I wonder if she was just given memories that flooded through to her through this ability, or if she was actually, like, transferred somehow her ability. Is this friend kid who led us down path? Right? Is that a
我出
tattoo?
国这些年，的确发生了很多事。
是啊，这个流民说死就死了，倒也是了了我一桩心事。
见个老朋友，
Oh.
什么那天李天熙的记忆会突然涌进我的脑子里，甚至还有他所看到过其他人的记忆片段。通过照片，你能看到陆光。
What she saw when she saw this. Memories that went through her mind, maybe?
给，你要的。流民的手机。
但其实是由无数条平行线组成的。它可以被个人性格所驱使。
Okay, I was wondering how that happened.
为谁目光的记忆会有丑小狮死去的画面？
Uh-oh.
可能是我想多了吧。
I have an idea. I don't like it, but I have an idea.
你这瘸子要装到什么时候？
He wants to lean on his buddy.
哎呀，还是家里舒服。哎呦，感谢包租婆，还给我们准备了接风宴。
他已经脱离生命危险，现在正逐渐康复中。
That's cool.
这次
I don't know how. I figured she was a straight goner, but all right.
平线汇聚起来，让一切不确定性变成确定。
真的做得到吗？
I don't know about all that.
这点勇气都没，还怎么做我的朋友？
Bear's been manipulating you from the jump. And you've just accepted it.
你好像落东西了。
已经不需要了。
对不起，周小石。我一直告诉你，不能改变过去，
But that's exactly what you're doing.
但自己却没能做到。
Yeah.
即使知道死亡是不能改变的节点，但我也想用最后的机会，回到一切的开始，拯救你。
That's more along the lines of what I said before. I was thinking. Well, fuck. I don't know. I don't even know where to begin. There's a lot of things I'm going to have to question, right? But typically, when we come to a finale of a season, I'll talk about it and I'll touch on it. Going in depth and like theorizing and really like trying to figure things out as maybe I would like to, or I usually do, isn't really on the table. Like I don't feel the need to really do so. I'll talk it out a little bit, but to like really take that guess, because odds are I'm going to forget everything that I say and I'm going to have to wait years to figure it out, right? So like I'll give some surface level stuff, but like really trying to get into it, probably not going to happen. I will say, great finale. I think it's a great way to put a closing mark like on something, which was this season, which was this entire arc basically, and give you enough to kind of set up and get you excited enough for what's to come in the future. And it does a good enough job of showcasing what it is that you're going to have to worry about as we introduce another group or set of people that we're going to have to worry about going forward, such as the guy with the hat, and such as the brother. And then we're also going to have this thing where we're going to have to learn more about Lu Guang. So it sets up things where we're probably going to learn about him and his past and where he's come from and why he's doing the things that he's doing and what exactly brought him to this situation, right? Like, so there's plenty that got set up in literally a couple minutes that perfectly works towards getting you intrigued enough to what's going to come for a future season, hopefully. The big thing probably on everybody's mind, which I guess will be the first thing I touch on, is Lu Guang. His purpose. So he is here because he is basically breaking his own rule that he's set, and he is trying to save CX's death. That's essentially what's happening. I think that everybody's probably on the same page with that. He's trying to move past it so that doesn't happen. Now, there could be two ways, actually, we can take this. I think the likely one is he dies at some point in the future, some point that we're still not presently at within the story, or we haven't witnessed presently in the story, and he's going back likely to the start of season 1. So whenever that first episode is likely when he started or when he went back, or maybe it was a little bit before that, but it's roughly around that time probably. And he goes back, and his entire journey up to this point is him knowing the things that kind of occur for the most part going forward, which of course having other people and users of like these certain abilities and stuff likely isn't going to be things that he actually is aware of, like if they come into contact and try and, you know, have their own agendas and stuff. So it's entirely possible still that he went back there and everything he's been doing up to this point is to save us and get us past this one point. I think that's entirely likely that that's the case, and he's trying to break his own rule, and he's trying to prevent this death note in a way, and not allow for CX to die, which makes everything that we've seen so much more interesting and makes me kind of want to go back and see if this is stuff that seemed a little obvious at moments, maybe with things that he was saying or things that he was doing that maybe I never picked up on before and make a little bit more sense now. I think would make a lot of sense, and I'm interested enough to do that. I think the second route that they can decide to take this, which I think is the less likely route, but would still be interesting, is that CX died prior to season 1, or like right at that beginning stage, probably like before we actually get to see it, and everything that's been happening since is Lu Guang basically just trying to protect him in a way, telling him don't change these things, don't do anything, and being extremely cautious of everything because he was successful in his attempts to go back and save him, and ultimately everything that he's steering us and like leading us to in this future going forward is him being extremely cautious, and him, because he basically went past something and he did something that he knew he shouldn't have, and he broke this rule that he knew that he shouldn't, right? I believe that could also be the situation. I think that can work better because we don't have to equal up to a time and place where ultimately CX dies and then we have to change that exact moment. So I think it can work better narratively for the fact that we don't have to worry about like, oh, how come he didn't know that this stuff happens, or how come he doesn't know like certain things get mixed in like at some point in the future, or they have conflicts with these people, or these, you know, like how he doesn't know exactly the order of events if he's kind of already lived through it. So I think that that can work better for that, but I think it's a more interesting story for, I guess, a lot of people to witness, for us to see all the steps he's doing to lead us to this ultimate event where it seems that CX probably ends up dying, and he tries to do everything in his power to change that. So I'm interested to see, I guess, the route that they decide to go with that. I think the first one's most likely. Second thing, I guess, that would be on everybody's mind, the big thing, is the ability to transfer abilities, which seems likely to be a thing. We don't know the specifics. So first we see the sister die and hold on to our girl Ling and pass the ability to her, or what we believe is that it could just be memories that she passed to her, right? It entirely could just be that all she did was pass all of her memories somehow. She's able to feed that to this other person, and that was just part of her ability, and then vanished and it's gone, and that's all it was. And that's all that she saw. So now she has a little bit of knowledge going into it. It could also entirely just be the fact that through the ability of just touching somebody, you can allow a transfer of whatever your power is, which also would make plenty of sense. And now she has the sister's powers here for memories and whatever else kind of came along with it. So I think that is most likely to be the case. But we can't be, I guess, too certain until we actually see her put it to use and figure that out for herself, which then leads us into the end sequence in which Lu Guang decides to go back in time and change these things to protect CX, which we end up seeing him clap and use his ability, which makes you wonder, how the fuck did you get that? So there's two things on my mind. There's the possibility that Lu Guang has always had this ability, and he's been capable of both. And I don't know how the fuck CX was able to get it if that was the case. So there's a possibility of that is, and maybe there is just a way to transfer things and he was able to transfer this, but like keep another portion of his, like, I don't know. But I think the most likely one is we see CX die in his arms before he ends up going back and doing this. So if the theory of just kind of touching and connecting with a person through something like that allows a transfer of abilities in this way, it would make plenty of sense that the abilities get transferred to Lu Guang here after CX ends up dying, and that's why he's able to actually possess that and use his ability, which then allows him to go back and do it. Why he even knew about that is even crazier to me. Like, what the fuck was he knowing that I have his power now and I can do this? I don't know how the fuck he was able to figure that out. I am interested. I gotta go back and see. Was he looking at what picture was he looking at when he did it? Was it one that we know? So no, it wasn't a picture, but they didn't show us the picture. He was holding one and looking at it though. So we don't know, unless they did earlier and I didn't end up seeing it. So interesting, I guess, just to kind of keep in mind. The other thing too is, does he still have this? Like, is this something that he can still also do? Or did he end up losing it when he went back? Like, how exactly did that happen? Also, what are the extent of his thing now that I think about it? What's the extent of this ability? Because it's a It's a 12-hour thing, right? But instead he goes back here. So is he just like full on time traveler? Like he can just stay here if he wants though? Like he doesn't, it's not a limited thing? Or has he just been lying the entire time and putting limits on these things that aren't actually true? And he's doing it to like force him to be boxed in a way, or think that he has like these things and force him to kind of take it serious? It gets you thinking more about what his actions are. Also, the fact that we have him go through this all in his mind after they get back and like they're in this happy place, and then they like do a full camera pan and stuff as if like we're coming out of this memory when he flashed out. Like, did he just come in now? Like, was this from then and now he's back and he's into his old self, and then at this moment like they're all happy and celebrating, and then the entire next season is going to take span over like a 12-hour period where he's trying to protect him in like this final moment thing? Like, could it be something along those lines? I'd be interested. I don't think that's as likely either. But there's just a lot of specifics and stuff that they don't really touch on. The episode itself, pretty fucking good. Like I said, the brother not wanting the sister like see doctors and stuff and believe that there's things wrong with her and that she's actually fine. Also, the idea that she could speak and that she just lost it at one point, is that a thing that happens? Like where you just stop? Like I know we've talked about people being like mute, or people being just like selectively mute, but that's not her case here, and it just happened and she just wasn't able to, but she could function before. So like, is that something that just happens and people lose it, or is this just like some weird shit? The whole sequence here, this fight, CX gets fucking shot. Of course they gotta do that. I thought Lu Guang was gonna get popped too, bro. Well, that would have been crazy, but he wasn't able to. The fight sequence is great. I love seeing R2 finally be able to connect and fight together, but the quality of it felt a lot better than like everything this season. Like they put a lot of effort into it, and you really could feel like the punches, and everything just seemed extremely smooth and well done. It was, I don't know, just interesting to note. I love the officer coming down here and fucking really showing off his abilities. Bro is good at this. I'm just saying, man can fight, you know. And also, just saying, my boy Jin is jacked. Like, I don't know how that happened, but he was able to be jacked. In this moment, we tell the brother to run. So she wants to save him, but why? You get like, I don't know what happened in that moment, but she made him run. Probably because she just wanted him to not touch her so that she could pass this on to somebody that's not him and give him like full power or something. This is when we get to see the coming like full circle of all the sequences and stuff that we saw before, how exactly the death of the parents and everything ended up coming about, when the brother basically seemed to have broke when they ended up killing Buddy over here. Why exactly, you know, she didn't want to be the one who did it, because she was into his memories at that point. She was able to see like the things that he's thinking and how he doesn't want it to end, and he doesn't want to miss out on these opportunities with like his family and his daughter and stuff. And she probably related all that back to her mom, you know, and wanting her back and wanting to be with her, and realizing that this guy's gonna miss that. So she refuses to let this work and not actually go out of their way and kill him until Buddy comes back later and fucking stabs him. Then it makes sense here. This is how exactly he gets the picture when he sees the thing on the back. Like, it nails everything, and it's pretty straightforward. I love them getting like tangled in like the memories of the film and stuff like that. I think it's a really, really cool thing, getting caught up in that and then not being able to finish the thing. But did any of them end up getting home? Yeah, one of them got home, because unfortunately she's gone, but she ends up meeting back up with her mom there, you know, and I guess her dad, if we want to go that far. But, this guy makes his first appearance in grown form, which is cool. I don't know his intentions. He mentions things regarding parallel timelines and stuff. I don't want to go too into that. My brain's not all there that I want to do it, I'll be honest. I don't know what his plans are here. Basically, they're just happy that his brother's dead, so I don't understand that. And then they get a transfer of the phone. So what the fuck is on his phone still that they need so bad? I don't know. I need to know. It still didn't answer my question why the guy we made jump off the roof too, why we framed him with the money and stuff and his family, why we did that earlier in the season. That still doesn't make any sense to me. So there's that I'm also thinking about now. And I can't put that into perspective. In this moment, we get the flashback and we end up seeing Lu Guang and him holding CX after the death. Playing this sequence back over and looking at it, so it seems like he lost his mind in the fight and like got really angry when he saw CX get shot, because he thought he fucked up and he let him die at a moment that he wasn't supposed to, or it triggered like a flashback in a way because he has seen him die before. But they're both wearing different clothing in the actual like moment that they show us that seems like he's dead. Well, it does seem like there's like in a forest and stuff too, so I guess that's just something to note. It also could just be random backgrounds that they're putting in this. It might not be important, but something to note that wasn't the exact moment there that he ended up like dying before, and we ended up getting past. So it definitely happens at a complete different moment. This is where we start really questioning what the fuck happened. This is a funny moment when he's just using him to like kind of support him and carry him, even though he's okay and he's fully fine. And I love, she's great. I'm so happy that she just like is the person that she is, that she sets up this whole like welcome home party and everything for her. Also fantastic outfit, might I just add. We end up figuring out that the female officer's still alive too, which is kind of a bummer to me. Like, we made her situation dramatic into a point that like, okay, she's dead now, like just for us to bring her back, like seems a little lame to me, I'm not gonna lie. I really kind of wish that wasn't the case. And then these two are working together, so he's getting manipulated by absolutely everybody that he comes into fucking contact with, and I just don't understand his train of thought, but he's got reasons. And then he basically leaves the past and his sister and the connections to all that stuff behind him, is kind of how I'm reading that, when he leaves the phone behind. And then we get the big Lu Wang reveal of what exactly he's here doing and attempting to do. New ED, or to start us off here, which was really cool, or end us off. And that's all I'm gonna have for this episode. I think it's fucking great. It's not as like holy fuck moments to me as the season 1 ending, that finale, but we don't have to compare, of course. And it does do exactly the same thing that one did, where it sets you up and gets you interested enough into these people or these certain things going forward. So it makes plenty of sense, and it kind of operates the same way, which leaves you excited for what's to come. Regarding the entire season 2 here as a whole, it's been a long journey for my link click journey. We started off, I think it was the end of June, early July, one of those two. I started off and I grinded through every episode and got them all up right before the season started. And then we've been banging them out each week here, and I've been very happy to have had that honor to be able to do that and share that and talk to you all, especially on the week-to-week basis. It's been really fun to communicate that with everybody, like theories, thoughts, things like that. So thank you very much to everybody who's commented, liked, just anything regarding the series, and just kind of been involved in that. And I've enjoyed that quite a lot. With that said, this season is definitely a downgrade in basically every aspect from the first season. I still do enjoy the season, and I still think it's quality and it's good, but compared to the levels, I guess, of just everything, every possible emotion that I felt throughout that first season, whether it just be like anger, sadness, fucking happiness, like everything that you can think of was just at a higher level at almost every moment in the first season, which is a bit unfortunate. But when you have something that I felt was as high quality as that, it's kind of hard to keep it up. Also, the idea that this season takes place in such a short span of time. It literally takes place in the span of a night, like a day. Like it doesn't, it's not long at all. So it makes everything, it might be a few days, because they go to like the funeral or like whatever it is for the other guy. So it might be over a span of a couple days, but it's within like a week span probably that this whole thing takes place. So there's not too much time to like really space you out and develop into things. We take away, arguably, I think, like the aspect of the series that I love the most, which was the unique ability to tell stories of different characters and stuff. Well, we keep it in a certain way by having people like Jin having the twins, being able to tell their stories and the different sides to it. And each of those ended up being fairly quality for what they were. Just having the like uniqueness, I felt like that came with a majority of the other stories and characters and stuff from the first one, definitely felt like I was missing. It felt like the emotional beats at like certain moments just weren't there to the same level that the first one was either. And that's not me saying that it needs to be, but it's me saying in moments where I felt like they were trying to make those be there, they just weren't for a lot of this, which definitely is another thing that gets me a little upset. On more positive notes, I think that the production quality was very, very good for this season. Usually you get downgrades, but this felt very quality for the most part. We got I think I can recall 3 like really good fighting sequences The first one being us in the hospital at the beginning, I think episode 2 or 3 probably, which went on for like 10 minutes. I don't know how the fuck they did it, but it was fantastic and very quality and just very well done. We got the other one, which was like the entire episode basically between the two police officers fighting everybody, and then the third one being back here at the end. And all of them struck me as things that like I felt were really interesting and enjoyable combat to watch, and I really appreciated that, and I think that that was really cool. I also think most, like 90% of the questions asked in the season were basically answered. Well, it still leaves us with things, of course, and I think that's the intentions and goals of the series. It's a good thing to kind of note the idea that we can tell stories the way that we did here and change up the formula from how it felt like they were dragging the first season to do something like this, and it works out pretty well, which makes me think that they do have a clear vision of how they want to head within the rest of this, and that's pretty cool. Although we didn't get the things I want, because I was hoping going into the season we get more backstory on like Lu Guang, the trip that they took overseas together, the origins of like these powers and stuff. A lot of that is now seeming like it works perfectly for a third season as opposed to a first season or a second season. I think the OP was fucking fire. The visuals were amazing. The song was fantastic. I didn't know how they were going to do it because the first one was so good that I was like dreading the fact that we're going to have to get a new one, because most shows just do not hit. If they hit the first one, they do not hit the next one, at least at that same level. And this one, I honestly think I might like the second one a lot more. It's so good. And just the ED too was really fucking good. I like how we kept mixing in different EDs too. Their ability to end you on cliffhangers all the time is still crazy how they're doing it. That's another big complaint, I guess, within the season, is the fact that it felt like we were rearranging things a little bit too much to leave you on like a cliffhanger and then retell you basically everything and retrace our steps for the entirety of the next episode. Like the formula felt fairly like standard for the most of it, which I can't necessarily say I loved, which is a bit unfortunate. Another thing was the pacing I felt was rather off for a majority of it, which is, it's up to each person, I guess, who watches it and how they feel. But I definitely feel like we had multiple episodes where I was just like, what are we doing? Like the one episode I always think back to is just the one where we had the fights with the officers, right? Like it felt like nothing happened in that episode. Like I felt like we could have skipped that entirely and just jumped to when we end up meeting them like at the riverside, and that could have worked and I would have had the same effect on me as it ended up having, you know? The only things that I felt like it did that I can remember, I'd have to rewatch it and see if there were certain things that were brought to our attention before, was the idea that we get to be introduced to how good of and skilled of a fighter the officer is, and the female officer, how she ended up fucking dying, which didn't matter because she ended up coming back. So unless they plan to have her like play an important role going forward, but even if that's the case, like there's no, I don't know, it just didn't feel like it fit or it made sense. Just certain things just, I don't know, the pacing of the entirety of the season felt rather off. The first like 2 or 3 episodes felt pretty strong for what they were doing, and then the back end, I think they picked it up in the last couple episodes and like got back on pace, but the whole middle section just felt like it was weirdly paced out, that I didn't understand it. I felt it at the time. I still feel it now, reflecting back on it. It just seems, some of it just seemed a little bit weird. The season did a good job though of ultimately reinforcing my thoughts and feelings on certain characters and stuff, making the characters maybe that I didn't love and stuff, and I still maybe don't now, but liking them a bit more, feeling like I can grow a bit closer as the focus more so became on the characters themselves that we were kind of dealing with and wanting to see them live and like do things rather than worrying about like these other stories and the characters that we introduced through that, which is also a really cool aspect, I guess. So enjoy all of that. Overall, I'm feeling probably like a 7 for this season. Like I said, decent downgrade, I would say, but still relatively good. And I'm excited just basically to see what kind of comes next. Probably like a mid to high one as well. Probably ranging up around there. We'll have to reflect back on it, and I'll probably rewatch this once or twice before we jump into anything further, but that's where we're at right now. Once again, thank you to everybody who joined on this journey. We saw a lot of growth and a lot of interaction through this series since I started, and it's kind of really meant a lot, and it's been really fun witnessing and enjoying it with everybody who has and to come along for the journey. I hope you stick around for other things. If not, then thanks for joining me for this. If you have other things you'd like to see me react to at some other point, let me know, whether it's airing next season, whether it's newish, whether it's old, just let me know. I'll throw it on maybe a poll or something in the future. Things are a little tough for like older shows right now. But if I ever find time at some point in the upcoming months or something, I'll definitely try and fit some things on there, especially if there's a lot of people that want something specific, and I see it a lot. That's a good way of doing it also. Even if you see somebody else recommend something, don't just like thumbs up on it, just like actually leave that comment yourself, because if I see it multiple times, it'll click in my head a little bit more that people want that. Gonna be all for me though. If you liked it all, hit the like and subscribe. They do mean a lot to me. Feel free to check out the other videos on the channel. Leave any comments about this episode. Hopefully I see you back for something else. New season's beginning soon. We got a couple shows that are kind of lined up and I'm planning to do for that. And you guys have a good one though. Peace.